Did you know that tomatoes are the most popular garden vegetable in the world? Yet, it's surprising how many of us grapple with growing them. The vibrant red, the tantalizing aroma, the juicy taste. A perfectly ripe tomato is a gardener's pride and joy. But achieving this can feel like solving a complex puzzle. From seeds to fruit, there's an art to nurturing these sun-loving plants. Today, we'll uncover the secrets to growing juicy, delicious tomatoes right in your backyard. Choosing the right variety is the first step towards a bountiful harvest. In the grand sphere of tomato cultivation, two categories reign supreme: heirloom and hybrid tomatoes. Each variety comes with its own set of unique traits, advantages and disadvantages, and understanding these differences can set you on the path to a successful tomato growing endeavor. Heirloom tomatoes, for starters, are a favorite among many garden enthusiasts. These are the old-fashioned varieties that have been passed down through generations, cherished for their unique flavors and often quirky appearances. They come in all shapes, sizes and colors, from the striped green zebra to the dark and sultry black crim. Heirlooms are open-pollinated, which means they'll produce seeds that you can save and plant next year, keeping the tradition alive. However, heirlooms do have their drawbacks. They're often more susceptible to diseases and pests than their hybrid counterparts, and they may not yield as heavily. Also, the fruits often have a shorter shelf life, making them less ideal if you're planning on selling or storing your harvest. On the other hand, hybrid tomatoes are the result of crossbreeding two different varieties to create a new one that combines the best traits of its parents. They are often bred for disease resistance, uniformity, and productivity, making them a reliable choice for those seeking a hefty harvest. Hybrids like the Big Boy or Early Girl are often the ones you'll find in your local supermarket due to their consistent size and robust nature. However, the downside to hybrids is that the seeds can't be saved for planting next year. Each generation will be different, as the traits from the parent varieties can separate out unpredictably. So, if you fall in love with a certain hybrid one year, you'll need to buy new seeds the next. Remember, the right variety can make all the difference. Whether you choose the nostalgic allure of heirloom tomatoes or the reliable productivity of hybrids, understanding the pros and cons of each can help guide your decision. So select your seeds with care and let your tomato adventure begin. Now let's get our hands dirty and plant some tomatoes. The first step to a bountiful harvest is preparing the soil. Tomatoes love rich, well-draining soil. You can enhance your garden's earth by mixing in compost or aged manure. This not only feeds your plants but also improves soil structure and water retention. Next, let's talk about spacing. If you're planting seedlings, ensure they are spaced about 2 to 3 feet apart. This may seem like a lot, but tomato plants need room to grow and spread. Proper spacing also promotes good air circulation, which helps prevent diseases. Now, if you're starting from seeds, plant them about 1/4 inch deep in small pots or trays filled with seed compost. Keep the soil moist and in a warm place. As soon as they sprout and grow their first true leaves, they're ready to be transplanted into larger pots or directly into your garden. When transplanting, dig a hole deep enough so that 2/3 of the plant is buried in the ground. This might seem excessive, but tomatoes can develop roots all along their stems. The more stem you bury, the more roots will form, and a strong root system means a stronger, more productive plant. After planting, water your seedlings thoroughly. Remember, tomato plants prefer deep, infrequent watering as opposed to light, daily sprinkles. This encourages the roots to grow deeper into the soil, making the plants more drought-resistant and stable. Lastly, don't forget to stake or cage your tomato plants. This keeps the fruit off the ground, making them less susceptible to pests and diseases, and easier to harvest. And there you have it. Planting tomatoes is not a Herculean task. With a little patience, a bit of effort, and a lot of love, you'll be on your way to a fruitful harvest. Remember, the joy of gardening is not just in the harvest but in the journey, so don't rush the process, enjoy it. With the right conditions, your seeds will sprout in no time. Tomatoes need the perfect balance of sunlight, temperature, and water. These three elements are the pillars of a healthy tomato plant, and getting them right can make the difference between a bountiful harvest and a disappointing yield. Let's start with sunlight. Tomatoes love the sun. They need a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day to produce those juicy, plump fruits we all love. Without enough sunlight, your tomatoes may struggle to ripen and can become more susceptible to disease. So, when you're choosing a spot for your tomato plants, make sure it's one where they can bask in the sun's rays for most of the day. Temperature is another crucial factor to consider. Tomatoes prefer a moderate temperature range, no lower than 55 degrees Fahrenheit at night and no higher than 95 during the day. Anything beyond these ranges can stress the plants and affect their fruit production. Now, let's talk about water. Tomatoes need a steady supply of water, but not too much. Overwatering can lead to waterlogged roots and disease, while underwatering can cause the plant to wilt and the fruits to crack. The key is to water deeply but infrequently, ensuring the water reaches the root zone. A good rule of thumb is to water once or twice a week depending on the weather and soil conditions. Finally, there's a little trick that experienced gardeners use called hardening off. This is a process of gradually exposing young tomato plants to outdoor conditions to toughen them up before they're planted out in the garden. Start by placing them outside for a few hours a day in a sheltered spot, gradually increasing their exposure over a week or two. This helps the plants to develop resilience against wind, sun, and temperature fluctuations, setting them up for a successful growing season. Remember, too much or too little of anything is bad for your tomatoes. Achieving the optimal balance of sunlight, temperature, and water will help your tomato plants thrive and reward you with a bumper crop of delicious fruits. Like us, tomatoes need a balanced diet to grow strong and healthy. The secret lies in the soil. The right balance of nutrients can make a world of difference in your tomato harvest. First, let's talk about nitrogen. This key nutrient promotes healthy foliage growth, which is essential for photosynthesis. But be cautious, an overabundance of nitrogen can lead to lush, green plants with few fruits. Now, phosphorus. It's all about the roots and fruits. Phosphorus helps develop strong root systems and enhances fruit production. So more phosphorus means more tomatoes. Then we have potassium. This nutrient helps improve the overall health and disease resistance of your plants. Plus, it aids in the production of sugars and proteins, contributing to tastier fruits. But how do you ensure these nutrients are in your soil? Well, that's where fertilization comes in. A slow-release granular fertilizer or a liquid feed can do wonders. They provide a balanced dose of nutrients that your tomatoes need to thrive. Consider organic options too. Compost and aged manure are excellent sources of essential nutrients and can improve soil structure, promoting better root growth. Remember, over-fertilization can be as harmful as under-fertilization. So, test your soil before you start, and adjust as needed. The right nutrients will give you a healthy plant and a better harvest. It's all about balance and care. Your tomatoes will thank you for it. Pests and diseases can be a tomato gardener's worst nightmare. But fear not, there are ways to combat these unwelcome visitors. Aphids, caterpillars, and blight are among the common culprits that can wreak havoc on your tomato plants. For these pests, natural predators like ladybugs and birds can be your garden's best friends. Encourage their presence by providing habitats for them. In severe cases, consider using organic pesticides or insecticidal soaps. On the disease front, blights and wilts can be a significant concern. Crop rotation is a practical preventative measure. By changing the location of your tomatoes each year, you can prevent disease organisms from becoming established in the soil. Good spacing between plants also aids in disease prevention by improving air circulation, reducing the likelihood of fungal diseases. And remember, a healthy plant is the best defense against pests and diseases. So, ensure your tomatoes get the right nutrients, water, and sunlight. With proper management, your plants can stay healthy and productive. With these tips, you're now ready to grow your own tomatoes. Watch as seeds sprout, becoming sturdy seedlings before your eyes. They stretch towards the sun, leaves unfurling, blossoming into vibrant flowers. Then, the magic happens. Tiny green orbs appear, gradually swelling and ripening into juicy red tomatoes. In your own backyard, you've created a bountiful harvest, a testament to your dedication and care. Remember, every garden is unique. So don't be afraid to experiment and find out what works best for you. Happy gardening!